crafty friends. Happy Friday. It is August 20th, and we're here for some Flosstube. At least I hope you're here for some Flosstube. If you're here for something else, I don't know how you stumbled upon me, but welcome. My name is Jessie, and this is Mislaid Pages. And I'm going to give just a little bit more of an introduction this time than I usually do, just because I have some new folks here. And I just want to introduce myself to the new folks, to the folks who've been here for a while, but haven't gotten a real introduction, and just, let you know who I am, what's going on, all that kind of stuff. Make sure that you're comfortable with where you have landed and that sort of thing. So my name is Jessie. I am a queer and gender questioning cross stitcher and multi-craftual person. I enjoy cross stitching as well as knitting and diamond painting, and I make videos about all of those things. Um, I'm also married to a cisgendered heterosexual man. His name is Adam. We have three cats together, and I also have a stepkid who is his biological child from a previous marriage. Our stepkid is non-binary and asexual and aromantic, and they are a fantastic, wonderful, brilliant unicorn of a person. I love them. They're awesome. They're going to be 18 soon, and I cannot believe that that is about to happen. So, yeah. So hopefully, once they are 18, maybe they'll make some appearances on the channel. We'll see. We'll see how they feel about that. I certainly would never do that without asking them first. So that's the gist of it. Here on my channel, not only do I share crafting stuff, but I also talk about things that are meaningful to me, things that are going on in my life, things that are important to me. So I talk about craftivism, I talk about activism, I talk about serious, important life issues. I also talk about personal stuff sometimes. I talk a lot about television shows and movies because those are the things that I'm interested in. Once I get back to actually listening to audiobooks, whenever that ends up being, I also talk about the books that I'm reading. I do tend to listen to audio versus reading physical books. So when I say I'm reading something, I'm actually listening to it. But that goes to it goes a little bit to my ADD. I'm newly diagnosed, so I'm also a neurodivergent stitcher, as well as all the other things. So I check a bunch of boxes, and if those boxes resonate with you, that's awesome. If they don't resonate with you, that's fine too. I would hope that you would stick around and see if there's maybe something that you do find interesting, or can pick up and whatever. As Michelle over at Bendy Stitchy says, maybe you'll stick around and learn something. Who knows? Um, so I have a bunch of friends here on Flosstube who are also stitchers. Some of those friends include Rachel Ray, Rachel over at Rachel Ray, Heike over at Stone Cold Coffee Crafts. These are folks that I talk about on a regular basis. Michelle G over at Bendy Stitchy, as well as my new Stitch Dad, who is D over at D's 20 Stitches, and they are fantastic. I love them. They have a new floss tube. You need to go watch it. So they have 2 episodes now. They are both totally worth the watch. Go check them out. They're awesome. Love them. Fantastic. So yeah, I guess that's it in a nutshell. I have a lot of stuff to talk about today. I probably didn't need to add on an extra intro at the beginning, but it's been a minute since I talked to y'all. So yeah, I just want to. I'm trying to get a chill vibe today. This week and last week, the last few weeks have been so busy. Just lots and lots and lots of really time consuming work stuff. Not time consuming, but like brain and energy consuming work stuff. I keep saying work has been busier since the 1st of July, and that just how it is. Part of that is because I work in economic development. I am sort of a back office, not back office, but like I'm a behind the scenes support person for a team of folks that actually go out to talk to companies and let them know how awesome Virginia is and why Virginia would be a great place for them to build or grow their businesses. But I do the back end data work. I do the back end support stuff to help enable them to do their jobs more easily and more efficiently. So I'm not a client facing person. I'm a colleague facing person. I'm an office person. But now that things are or were opening back up, the folks that I support are going back out, going to events again. Events are happening again. They're having in-person meetings and that kind of stuff, which means that a lot of stuff that had fallen by the wayside over the last year because they hadn't been doing these things, all of these things are ramping up again. And it's possible that they'll ramp right back down because of the Delta variant. We'll have to see how things go. But yeah, so that's why things are so busy. It's just, events are happening again, in-person meetings are happening again, and all of that involves a whole different level and amount of stuff that hasn't been on my plate for about a year now. So doing all of the stuff that I have been doing over the last year, in addition to all the stuff that I had been doing previously, yeah, it's a lot. And then on top of that, we have Expo. Expo is coming up. Needlework Expo is a retailer wholesale event. So as an online needlework shop, Mislaid Pages, I am attending as a retailer, so I'll be a buyer at the show. That's what they call us, as buyers, which means that I will get to go around and talk to various designers and purchase lots and lots of new release charts, some of which will be exclusive to buyers at Expo, so that's exciting. So because that's coming up, I've been talking about this for a few weeks, but I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for designers to start sending emails, and designers finally started sending emails this past Tuesday or Wednesday, and it has been a flood ever since. So, or actually, I guess last weekend. They finally started sending emails last weekend. I had expected emails to start coming out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I feel like we got emails about a month beforehand. Um, uh, for the March Expo, but that might be because the designers were already geared up and ready to go for March releases. Having an autumn release like this at a retailer event is kind of new, because in the past, the only needlework retailer event has been Nashville Needle Market or Needlework Market, which happens in Tennessee. Now, obviously, the last 2 years, or actually no, 2020 they had the event, and right after that is when things started shutting down. But they canceled the event in 2021 because it wasn't safe. And so to kind of, pivot the industry, not pivot, but to give a place for designers and retailers to still come together and do the market type stuff, Janice of the Noteworthy Needle set up this whole virtual needlework expo. So that happened back in March. It was my first time attending such an event. It was really, really awesome. And I think because folks were so used to having releases in at that time, that they were just ready to go. Whereas previously, that's always happened in March. But previously, there's not been an autumn retailer event like this. But Needlework Expo, when they came out in March, had always intended that in the future, Nashville will still happen in March and Needlework Expo will happen in August, September, ready for the fall. So I hadn't realized that they were going to go ahead and start that this year. And maybe a lot of designers were not quite ready either. So regardless, the point is, emails started coming out last Saturday. I'd hoped they would come out before, but I've been scrambling ever since to figure out how I was going to get pre-orders set up for all of you, so that you would not only have access to look at what's available, but purchase ahead of time what's available. And I know last week I was kind of uncertain how I was going to make that available to you. Ultimately, what I decided was to put all of that on my website. So my brand new website, which is www.mislaidpages.com. I have my own domain. I have my own thing now, which is really exciting and also slightly terrifying. But I have put up all of those, I shouldn't say all, I have put up a ton of of pre-orders, and I've set up some different menus so that I'm sorry, I'm bouncing the camera. I've set up some different menus so that you can kind of, to hone in on those things that might be most interesting to you. So, and I'll do a video, because I want to be able to kind of step you through stuff and talk about some charts that I think are particularly special. But the long and short of it is, There's a fall expo 2021 link at the very top of the page. You click on that, it's got a drop down, and you can look at just the Meow the Merrier, which is the theme for this particular event. In March it was the Moo the Merrier, and now we're doing the Meow the Merrier, which is cats, and I'm all about the cats. So there's a tab for Meow the Merrier. There's a tab for charts that are specifically exclusive to the expo that you may not or probably will not be able to get any other place than from a retailer going to the expo. Um, and then there's also a link for, actually, I think the link for all the designs by designer is separate, but there's a couple of different tabs. So check it out, www.mislaidpages.com. I am still working on getting more listings up because um, as of right now, I haven't gotten any new emails since yesterday, but, and when I say emails, so these emails from the designers, what the designers do, they're also previewing things, they're doing sneak peeks on their own social media and stuff. But what they do is they'll send out a blast to the retailers who are signed up to the event that gives us the specific information so that we can set up pre-orders and that we can know whether we're going to buy those charts or not. So that gives us images that we can share with customers. It gives us all of the details about how much the charts cost, and most of the time it also includes all of the details about the specific chart. So how large, what the stitch count of the design is, the design size when it's finished, the threads that are used, the fabric that was used in the model, all that stuff. So when I say emails, that's what I mean. And I haven't gotten any emails since yesterday. So fingers crossed, maybe they're all in now. So maybe I can catch up. But I do still have, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 designers to add to the site. But as of right now, I think I've got 15 designers and over 50 different charts for new releases. So that stuff's up there. And just one last little plug, and then I'll move on, I promise. I've set it up, I think. And let me preface this. So I'm very new to having my own website. I have done some way back in the day, I did some HTML programming and stuff. Fortunately, I don't have to do all of that. I am using Shopify, so they have a lot of really robust functions already set up, but I'm still new at setting up all the different shop functions on my own. So Etsy sets up a lot of these things for you. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not familiar with. That I've been working with on my new website. So if you find anything wonky, if anything looks buggy, if anything seems strange to you, feel free to email me, mislaidpages@gmail.com or jesse@mislaidpages.com, either one. It'll get to me. Feel free to email me and ask me. And likewise, if you see that there's a designer you're looking for, like maybe you're tuned into a designer who hasn't sent out an email and they've shared something that you're interested in buying at the expo, email me and let me know who that designer is and what the chart is that you're looking for. Because just because I don't have it on the website doesn't mean I can't get it. It comes down to having time and access to the information. So feel free to send me your wish list by email. I was going to try to set up a Google form wish list. I don't think I have time for that. But yeah, you can certainly send me anything you're interested in by email. Also, orders over $50 ship through the US to the entire US for free. So if you spend $50, you get free shipping. Domestically. Internationally, if you spend $150, you get free shipping. Additionally, I know that it's possible because I keep adding stuff and I may be adding stuff throughout next weekend, which is when the expo actually happens. I have set up a special code for free shipping on any orders after the first. So if you place an order and then you're like, oh crap, I forgot this, or I just saw this chart and I really, really need this chart and now I see it's on your site, anything like that happens, your subsequent orders, you can get free shipping on those. I'll ship them all at once in your expo order. So all those codes are at the top of the page when you go to the website. So that's that. Last little bit, the cats are starting to play with something, which is never a good sign. Last little bit, Expo is next weekend, so it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I probably will be. I'll be starting to either limit or close down listings sometime Saturday or Sunday. just because once I start placing orders with designers, I don't want to keep getting pre-orders from customers that I can't fill. So probably as I start making purchases, at the moment, all the listings are basically set up so that you can continue buying them regardless of how many have been sold. I'll probably start changing that once I start actually placing the orders with the designers and have specific numbers of charts that I will have on hand. So just FYI. So place your order sometime between this weekend and Friday next week. So that's going to be August, I think 27th, I think 20 plus 7, 27. Yes. Okay. So that's Expo. Like I said, I'm planning on doing a video for you to kind of show you how the website works, just in case it's confusing, and also to point out some charts that I think are really great. Lindy Stitches has some awesome stuff. You know, my girl Michelle Bendy has some awesome stuff. Yeah, there's some fun ones, and some of the Meow the Merrier charts are just, oh my gosh. So anyway, that's Expo. Let me look at my handy dandy list here. I had to make a list because I have so much to talk to you about. Um, let's see. Okay, before I get into stitchy stuff, and I can't tell, am I looking at the camera? Am I not looking at the camera? I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, we're just going to go with whatever we go with now. I'm going to do happy mail, and then we'll talk about more stitchy stuff. Because I've been staring at the camera up this way, and now I'm realizing maybe it would be better if I just look at I don't know. Anyway, hi y'all. This is Jessie's brain on exhaustion. Okay, let's do Happy Mail. So this week for Happy Mail, I have my Momo's in the window and she's climbing on top of things to be in the window, just FYI. I have my latest Kate Patreon subscription, the stuff that I get from supporting her on Patreon. So, and I had Elmeek ask if I could share, because I get these magnets with my latest Kate stuff, and I keep talking about how I put them on my fridge, and I had Elmeek ask if I could put a picture in. So I've actually remembered to take a picture. So in editing, I'm going to put the picture up here at some point because magnets. In my Patreon subscription, normally I get 2 5x7 prints and a magnet. This time they've sent me 3 5x7 prints, and I think it's because they somehow already know I have this magnet. So this is pretty much the first magnet that I ever got. And it says, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying anyway. It's one of my favorites. So I actually already have this. I have it as a shiny sticker. I think I put it on my my booklet, my journal, where I'm keeping all of my temperatures for my temperature shawl. So this is an extra. So because this is an extra, this is going to end up being a giveaway at some point. I will include it with something that I give away. So I think that would be fun. It's one of my favorites. I think somebody else will get a kick out of it. I certainly don't need to, so I'm gonna pay that forward, and somebody will get that in the future. Let's see. Let's look at our prints. So this one says, "The future can be good. Please keep pressing on." And if you're not familiar with the latest Kate, what she does is she does these sort of inspirational images. So she does the artwork. It's all completely hers. She does the lettering and the artwork and everything. And she does these images of animals. She puts up polls every month to see what animals people would like for her to draw in a particular theme that she's already pre-chosen. And then she adds these inspirational words to the images. And it's all about supporting folks who have anxiety and depression and things like that. So all very uplifting stuff. So the future can be good. Please keep pressing on. This one's super cute. Your body is a good body today, and you are a good you. And sometimes when I'm reading these, I get choked up because sometimes they just hit hard. So I like that one a lot. This one, the image on this one is one of my favorites. I love this dragon. It's like a Chinese style dragon. Your body is doing its best and deserves kindness today. So this month, I think her drawings and quotes were very much related to body positivity and or not necessarily, there's this concept of body neutrality that I've been hearing about lately. So a lot of folks are trying to get people to be super positive about their bodies, and that can be really difficult when you have when you're struggling with the relationship with your body. And when I say struggling with the relationship with your body, I mean in more ways than you feel like you need to lose a few pounds. So there are a lot of folks struggling with body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, things like that. And it can be really, really difficult to be positive about a body that just doesn't look or feel right to you in a much deeper sense than you just want to lose a few pounds, or you wish your hair were a different color, or stuff like that, when it's a deeper discomfort. And so the idea, especially if you struggle with eating disorders and things like that, so the idea that you can try to get to a neutral place with your body where you don't have to be positive about it, you don't have to be in love with it, but you can acknowledge that you and your body are part of the same entity, and not feel negatively about it, and sort of come to a place of just acceptance. I don't think I'm explaining it well because I'm not real familiar with it, but um, but that's kind of where these are leading, is to a sort of body neutrality, understanding that your body, even though it's uncomfortable and it might not feel right, until you can do things to change, you can come to a place of mutual acceptance and understanding. So hopefully that makes sense. What are we doing? Every time I try to do a video, they need to be extra. Okay, so that's the happy meal. So let's talk about stitching, right? It's Flosstube. Let's talk about stitching. I'm just going to cross Expo off my list because I talked about Expo a lot. um, so I have done some stitching. I have some whips to show you. It's all in the context of Autumn and Stars Hollow. So last weekend was the Autumn and Stars Hollow retreat. Autumn and Stars Hollow was a retreat in a box special edition that the Black Needle Society put out. I did post an unboxing of that if you're interested in seeing what actually came in the box. This was my first time participating in this long a retreat. So it was like 4.5 days. It started Wednesday evening and ran Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mostly what I participated in were the stitching challenges. So there were a couple different challenges and games kind of going on through the course of the weekend. I don't know why every time I move, it's shaking the camera. So there were stitching challenges. There were digital stash dives, which is sort of like a scavenger hunt, but you go online and you look for the things that are asked, that are requested. There were physical stash dives, which they call just stash dives. Yes. They just call them stash dives. So you have a digital stash dive, you have a stash dive, which is a physical stash dive. You have to pick a room in your house, you stay in that room for the entirety of the dive, and you try to find the scavenger hunt items in the room that you're in. Which can be really fun, but it is incredibly messy. And there was also Stash Bingo, where you create your own bingo card based on patterns that you own. And so you put the pattern names in the bingo board, and then I think, yeah, you put the pattern names in the bingo board, and then what happens is different elements of a chart will be called. So maybe a chart with a bell, and then you have to determine, if any of your squares meet that criteria. So if any of your patterns have a bell in them, then you get that box, and then you play until somebody gets bingo. And then yeah, so that's most of it. And then there's the stitching challenges, which are basically you stitch for an hour based on a theme, um, and try to match your cross stitch to that theme. And then you get points based on how many stitches. You get 1 point for every 25 stitches. If your project meets the theme for that challenge, you get 1 point for every 50 stitches if your project does not meet the theme. So those are the different kinds of challenges. I did not participate in the dives or the bingo, just because I was not feeling the hectic chaos of the searching for things. It was just like it was more than my brain could handle. So all I did was participate in the stitchy challenges. When I was able to on the weekend, I joined in on the chat rooms, which was pretty fun, meeting some new people, finding some new floss tubers, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, mostly I did the stitching challenges. So I got a lot of stitches in last weekend, which made me feel very happy. I did over the course of the weekend, and I think there were a total of 16 or 18 stitching challenges over that 4.5 day period. I participated in 11 of them for a total of 1,407 stitches over the course of the weekend. That was my challenge stitches. I actually did more stitches than that because I continued working a couple of nights. One night I worked on, continued working on my model stitch for Tempting Tangles. I kept working on that past the challenge. And then I also kept working on one of my other pieces for a later challenge because it was one of my whip go goals. So I kept working on it until I hit my whip go goal. So probably I actually stitched closer to, I don't know, 16 or 1800 stitches for the whole weekend. So that's pretty impressive for me. So I was very happy about that. Um, I did not win prizes. So there were prizes for like all of the stitching challenges and all of the dives, and then there was a few grand prizes at the end. I did win one $10 gift certificate for one of the challenges. I'm still waiting to hear about that, but yeah, I did win one $10 gift certificate, but there were lots of prizes and I didn't win any other prizes, so I was kind of disappointed. But the point was that I enjoyed the weekend and I got lots of stitching in, so so that's all that really matters. So it was fun. I would probably do one again. Um, I don't know when the next Gilmore Girls one is. It's going to be summertime, because they're going through the season. So this was fall, and then they're going to go backwards. So summer will be the next one. So it'll be released to have a summer retreat, and then the following one will be released in the spring to have a spring retreat, and so on and so forth. So I'll probably join in on it again. Um, let's see. Oh, so let's talk about the I got totally sidetracked. This is gonna be a long one. I hope y'all have a drink. I have some coffee. Once I get done filming this, I'm gonna have some treats from the bakery down the street. Let me tell y'all. Okay, side story. So, my favorite bakery, which is like a mile from my house, it's this fantastic little bakery in the middle of Hopewell, and they make everything from scratch, and everything's fantastic, and I love them. And it's a woman-owned business, and it's anyway. She's fantastic. I love supporting her. So they always post their menu on Instagram, and so I get a notification. The only notifications I get on Instagram, the push notifications, other than like private messages, are from the bakery. Because I need to know the minute that they post that menu. So the menu popped up, and one of the awesome things they were going to have today was tiramisu, which is a brand new thing for them. And so I was like, okay, I need to go. I actually was like, okay, I can't film before I go to the bakery because I'll probably miss out on the tiramisu. So I ran to the bakery. It was about 9:30. They open at 9. And it was about 9:30 when I left the house, so it was maybe 9:40 when I get there. And so the first thing I do is look for the tiramisu, and the tray for it is already empty at 9:40 in the morning. Is already empty, and I was devastated because I love tiramisu, and I knew that their tiramisu would be fantastic. And come to find out, they had posted that, and then they had gotten calls, pre-orders, or like phone orders, for trays of it for like whole cakes of tiramisu, and I was like, seriously. So I was foiled. Why did I even get on this topic? Oh, bakery goods. Yes. So, so I didn't get any tiramisu, but I did get a piece of tres leches, which when she makes it, it's fantastic. Um, so I did get that as a consolation. I also got this like little mini monkey bread, which is fantastic. Some focaccia and some pimento cheese to have for lunch. What else did I get? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for today. So it was a light day. Because y'all, I will go into the bakery and I will buy some stuff. Let me tell y'all. So anyway, so yeah, after this, I'm gonna have some treats. because I only had 2 bites of my monkey bread before I started filming. But I have my coffee, and I hope you have coffee, and I hope you have a snack because we're going to be here for a minute. So, so the whips that I worked on, I worked most of my stitches went into my model stitch for Tempting Tangles. So I can't show you that, but I can show you the other 2 pieces I used for challenges. So one of the challenges asked for a stitch that had a zodiac in it, or an astrological sign. Um, Now, from what I understand, Athena can be a bit literal. Not Athena, I apologize. Katie can be a bit literal about how these challenges are met. So it's entirely possible that technically speaking, she wouldn't have considered this to be an astrological sign. But the Chinese zodiac is Chinese astrology. So these are astrological signs in the Chinese zodiac. So in my opinion, so I don't know. Nobody challenged me on it, but I found out sort of after the fact that that Katie can be a bit literal with things. So yeah, I'll have to remember that for the future. But anyway, so astrological sign was the challenge. I decided to work on my Chinese zodiac. One, because it was easy to hand, and 2, because this is one of my other whip go pieces for the year, and I don't have that many whip go pieces left. So I figured why not put some stitches in it. And before I started, um, I didn't actually, I think I got like 100 stitches or something in. So all of this lighter blue, actually I can hold it closer and you can see it because I'm using the camera that autofocuses. So all of the lighter blue in the little tiger here, that's what I stitched during that challenge. So those are the new stitches. The rest of this was what I had already stitched from the last time I picked it up. Excuse me, which has been like a year. Because I don't think I've stitched on it since the second drop, excuse me, which would have been May or June of 2020. So Heike finished hers like on time and everything. Heike is on it. But this is how far I got and I stopped. So but I did work on it some. I put in like 100 stitches. 132 stitches actually. The other piece that was not the model stitch that I worked on is one of my Whip Go pieces for August. So this is Animal Almanac. I always want to say Amina Almanac. Amina Almanac. The Amina Almanac. So this, both of these pieces are from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and in both cases, I am using the called for fabric, which is a picture this plus. One of them is Heartland, and I can't remember what the other one is. I think this one is Heartland, and I don't remember what Zodiac is on, but they're both Picture This Plus 28 casuals. And I'm using the Call for flosses, which are mostly DMC with some Etoile. So, and before, let's see, what am I trying to say? So before I started stitching on it for the challenges, all I had was the little penguin, and I can't remember what her name is. I want to call her Penny. Her name is probably not Penny, but all I had was the penguin. I had pretty much everything. I should have taken this off my stand, but basically from here over, I had all of that stitching done. So the stitching that I did starting in the challenge was from here over. So this entire bubble that the character there is sitting in, all of that stitching is brand new, and it's about 560 stitches, I think, if I remember correctly from Pattern Keeper. So I did a bunch of stitching on this week, and I've been trying to decide whether I'm going to go ahead and try to finish all of February, which is what that bubble is. So this is set up like a calendar. And there's one of these bubbles for each month of the year. So January is number 1, obviously, was the penguin. February is going to be number 2, and that is a fox in a bathtub, and it's the cutest thing ever. So the fox in the bathtub has, Pattern Keeper told me, 15, almost 1,600 stitches. So it's no wonder I couldn't keep up with it at the time because I was doing 3 year-long stitch-alongs, or 4, starting January 2020. This was one of them. The Linen and Threads 2020 stitch-along, the Clouds Factory 2020 stitch-along, and Something else I started in January as well. And each of these probably had 1,500 to 2,000 stitches per drop each month. Um, that's a lot for somebody who, and I don't know how many stitches other people do on a regular basis. I feel like I'm a relatively slow stitcher, but I think, 2 to 3,000 stitches in a month is a challenge for me. That I feel like I've stitched a ton if I get 2 or 3,000 stitches in a month. So to be doing 3 or 4 projects that each have almost 2,000 or more than 2,000 stitches a month, that was unrealistic from the start, and I just had no idea. Had no idea. I know better now. So now I don't consider things stitch alongs. I consider them start alongs because I will start them with everybody else, and then we'll see when I finish them. I'll finish them eventually. So yeah, so this stitch along is over. This was 2020. It finished in December. We're now in August of 2021, and I'm working on February 2020. So that's where we are. But my WIPCO goal for August on this piece is complete because I've done 500 stitches. And now it's just for me, it's a question of whether I want to go ahead and finish this bubble before I put it away. Though now that I'm saying that, I would love to finish that bubble before I put it away, but there are two things standing in my way. If I finish this bubble before I put it away, chances are I won't touch my second WIPCO piece for August 2020, for August 2021, for this month, which is the Drama Llama sampler from Bendy Stitchy Designs. That's Michelle G's design. It's one of my favorites of hers. So if I continue stitching on this, I probably won't get to that before August is over. Also, I really want to get my Tempting Tangles model finished before September, because September, lots of things are happening in September. And so I really want that finished and sent off so that I can focus on other things. So now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably coming off of the stand this weekend. And I'll come back to it after I finish those other two goals, if I finish those other two goals before the end of August. So yeah, so those are my two whips from last weekend. Hoping to do tons and tons of stitching on the model stitch this weekend. I think I still have 4,000 stitches left, so it's gonna be tight, to see if I can actually get that finished before the end of August, especially because I got no stitching done this week at all. The last stitching I did was on Sunday. So with the way that work has been and with gearing up for Expo, I've been working all day and then getting stuff listed on the website in the afternoons and evenings. And then by the time I run out of energy, all I have brain power for is knitting. So I've done a lot of knitting, which I'm excited to show you about, but I haven't had time to film a knit cast. So hopefully next Wednesday. In fact, if I have time this weekend, I might go ahead and film it this weekend and post it on Wednesday, just because I have so much stuff to show you and I haven't had time to film it. The amount of yarn I have, new yarn that has arrived since we last had Knitcast, oh my gosh, y'all. And I finished a project and started a whole new one. There's so much. Okay, but that's for another video. Back to the cross stitching. So that's my WIPCO update for right now. So let's talk about September. What's going on in September? Well, the one I was going to say the biggest thing, but it's part of the biggest thing that's going on in September is I am hosting Season of Smalls again. So hashtag Season of Smalls. This is the second annual Season of Smalls, because this is going to be a thing from now on until I decide I can't deal with it anymore. So this is the second annual Season of Smalls. Rachel hosted with me last year. I think she's doing too many other things this year. So I'm hosting it myself this year. Still going to be awesome. Still all about creating smalls, starting and finishing smalls. That's what Season of Smalls is all about. As I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and put some infographics up here for you, just in case I miss any of the details or the rules or anything like that. So Before I get too into it, this year I'm going to be dedicating my season of smalls to the Marathon for MMIW. So if you're not familiar, I know Michelle has talked about this on her recent Flosstube. She and Erin McDaniel, Erin, I know it's Erin. I'm blanking on her last name for some reason. Two Martini Stitcher, Erin at Two Martini Stitcher, and Alicia Resistitch. Those three wonderful human beings are hosting hashtag marathon for MMIW to raise money for the coalition for, I can't remember what it's, the coalition. Okay, I'll try to remember to put it's the coalition to prevent the coalition against violence against Indigenous women. I'm blanking on their name, but it is a coalition that protects Indigenous women from violence. And I'm blanking on what their actual name is. I'll put it over here. Which is a fantastic organization. Alicia did a lot of research on the organization to make sure that they are, to make sure of what they're doing and how they're spending their money. And they are taking the money that they raise and they're using it in a very kind, compassionate, and intelligent ways. So I am super happy to be joining in on their stitching for a cause. And so the hashtag marathon for MMIW is actually an event that is running from September 1st to October 31st. So since I'm going to be dedicating Season of Smalls to to Marathon for MMIW, Season of Smalls this year will run September 1st to October 31st. So they're going to run concurrently. And the reason that's going to happen is because as I'm stitching for Season of Smalls, my goal is to raise $1,000 for the cause, for this coalition against violence against Indigenous women. I really wish I could remember the proper name. I should look these things up. But I'm going to be trying to raise $1,000 for this organization in conjunction with all the money that Michelle and Alicia and Erin are raising for the organization as well. In addition to, I don't know, at least 20 other stitchers. Rachel is joining in, Heike is joining in. So a bunch of us are going to be stitching. Now the idea is, or the overarching idea is that folks are pledging to stitch 100 hours between September 1st and October 31st on one project. I'm doing things a little differently because I knew that I couldn't do Season of Smalls and dedicate 100 hours to one project and still function as a human being with a job and stuff like that. I knew that was not something I could do. So what I have done is my pledge is to start and finish 10 smalls in the space of um, September 1st to October 31st. Of course, I say 10, but probably I've been waffling. My stretch goal is 10 to start and finish 10 pieces. I'm hoping to do at least 8 pieces. So that would be one a week from September 1st to October 31st. So I'm going to start the pledging with $100 on myself. So I'm going to pledge $10 per start and finish. So that'll be a total of $100. If I manage to start and finish more than 10 pieces, I will add in $10 for each start and finish that I do beyond that. So I'm going to pledge $100 to the cause. I would love it if you would support me in the cause as well. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm still trying to figure out the details, so I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So, but yeah, all of us will be stitching for the cause. Most folks are doing 100 hours on one particular project. I'm going to try to do as many starts and finishes, so SAFs, SAFS, starts and finishes of smalls as I can during that period. And so I'm going to pledge $10 per start and finish, essentially, with a stretch goal of 10 starts and finishes, and I hope to do more than that. So I'll be pledging that much to the cause for myself. I'm going to be putting a link in the description here for you to pledge for me if you would like to, if you'd like to support me specifically. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of us in the community that are doing this. You can support any of the other stitchers as well, because all of the money we're raising is going to the same cause. So as much as I would love for everybody to support me, it doesn't matter if you support me or if you support somebody else. You don't have to support multiple of us. If all of us meet our goal, then that's fantastic because it's all about raising money for the cause. So, yeah, so I'll be trying to, my ultimate goal, because what folks, Alicia especially, what folks are doing is saying, they're hoping to get pledges worth this much per hour, per stitching hour. So if I were stitching for 100 hours, I would pledge myself $1 per hour, and that would be $100. Since I'm doing starts and finishes, I'm pledging $10 per start and finish because I'll probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get to 10. So my goal, instead of like $1 per hour, my ultimate fundraising goal is $100 per finish. So if I get $100 per finish and I do 10 finishes, 10 starts and finishes, then I should get $1,000 raised. So that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully I'll have weekly updates for you and that kind of stuff. The link to pledge for me is down in the bottom. If I understand correctly, you would base it. So if you wanted to pledge $1 per finish, then that would be $10 for the overall span. So you would actually pledge your $10 all at one time. I think that's how that works. Um, this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so apologies that I don't know how it's all working. So that's what I mean when I say that I'm pledging my season of smalls. How can you join in with season of smalls? There's going to be a couple of different ways to join in this time. So to encourage folks to pledge for me for season of smalls for hashtag for marathon #marathon for MMIW, I'm going to throw in some additional prizes than I might have otherwise done. So there's going to be a couple of ways to participate in Season of Smalls and to be eligible for those prizes. So the first rule of everything is you have to be 18. You must be 18 to do anything with any of this, because that's just the law. So there are two ways that you can enter to be a prize winner. There's two ways that you can participate and become entered. The first way is to stitch a small. So I think I'm going to do this by Google form this year. So there's going to be a Google form to sign up to stitch, and then there will be a Google form to basically say you finished stitching. So you're going to stitch a small. I recommend 50 by 50 or smaller. But basically anything that's 50 by 50-ish or less that you can finish between September 1st and October 31st, you stitch it. Now, if for you a small is 100 by 100, do your thing. That's not small to me. You can stitch whatever you want. You can really stitch whatever you want. I'm not going to be a real stickler about the actual size of your piece, but the idea is to do smalls, to do small pieces, to get a quick win, that kind of thing. So 50 by 50 or less, preferentially. You need to pick something that you can finish by October 31st. So this does coincidentally coincide with drills and chills as well. So if you want to, you can pick a small for drills and chills, a small cross stitch piece for drills and chills, and you can use it for both things. I don't have a problem with that. I will be doing that because one of the first things that I'm going to stitch is going to be Trick or Treat, which is my drills and chills piece. So just FYI. So you need to start it no earlier than September 1st. Needs to be 50 by 50 or less preferentially, and you need to be able to finish it by October 31st. So you can stitch. You'll fill out the Google Forms. I'll give you more information about those once we get to September 1st. So that's one way you can participate, is by starting and finishing a small during that time frame. The other way you can participate for prizes is by donating to either pledging for me for marathon for MMIW, or donating in general to the organization that we are supporting, which I will give you links to that below too. So if you donate in either capacity, you'll get an entry that way for the prizes for Season of Smalls as well. So there's two different ways to get entered for prizes. Now each entry type is only going to get you, or each participation type is only going to get you one entry, but you can have up to 2 entries this year. So you get 1 entry for actually stitching, you get 1 entry for donating. And so because of that, there will be 4 total prizes. I don't know why I'm using my fingers. But because of that, there will be 4 total prizes. I'll give more details about what those prizes will be after September 1st. Largely, I just didn't have time or capacity to figure it out before this video. But there will be 4 prizes this year. So there will be a prize just for people who stitched. There will be a prize just for people who donated. And then there will be 2 prizes for the entire conglomerate group, if that makes sense. So 2 prizes for the whole group. So 2 people will be picked from the entire group of names, and then there will be 1 stitcher picked and 1 donator picked. So you'll have potentially 2 entries into up to 3 prizes, I think is how that works out. So yeah, so that's how that's going to go. And like I said, I'll put up some. There will have been infographics here, hopefully, to give you that information. Also, the details will be in the description as well. So if you missed any of this, or if I missed any of this, you'll get that down here. Also, the giveaway associated with this is not affiliated with YouTube. It's not affiliated with Instagram, because I will be posting stuff on Instagram too. It's not affiliated with anybody. It's not sponsored by anybody but me. So I think that's all the details. Um, and you'll get more information, like I said, about what Google Forms to fill out and how to fill those out once I make them, which hopefully will be before September 1st. And also, I'll give you more information about the prizes once I figure that out. And I'm hoping to figure that out by September 1st, at least a loose idea of what will be in the prizes and or how much they will be worth. It may not be here's the prize, but I want to give you an idea, because I want you to know what you're competing for, or not competing, but I want you to know what what you're getting. So so yeah, so that's Season of Smalls. I'm very excited about Season of Smalls. I'm hoping that next week, between now and next week, I will have a chance to start pulling together all of the things I intend to stitch for Season of Smalls. And to be perfectly, perfectly clear and transparent, I'm going to be picking as many smalls as I can, because I want to meet that goal. I really do. I want to meet that goal. But yeah, so I know some Quirky Quakers will end up in there, because there's some fantastic Quirky Quakers, and they are super small. Trick or Treat is going to be in there. There's some other Halloween stitching I want to do. So yeah, hopefully next week I'll have a parade of things I intend to stitch during Season of Smalls, and I hope you'll join me. So like I said, you can join me by stitching along as well. Also, if you want to support Marathon for MMIW, there are multiple ways that you can support that other than donating or pledging to my link. You can pledge to any of the other Flosstubers, excuse me, who are participating. You can also participate by joining in yourself and stitching for 100 hours on a project, or doing something similar to what I'm doing with Season of Smalls. You can participate that way so when you do that, you will be raising money on your own. So you can raise money that way. You can also participate just by cheering on the folks who are doing the marathon. So it's completely up to you. Any form of support is greatly valued and greatly appreciated. You don't have to support with money. You can support with good vibes and with moral support, or immoral support, as you, if you prefer. So there are lots of ways to contribute and to support and to participate. So make sure you check out other folks who are participating. I think it's going to be fun overall. There are going to be Zoom meetings and stuff. So as I said, Michelle G at Bendy Stitchy, Alicia Resist Stitch, and Erin Two Martini Stitcher, they are the 3 hosts of the event. So they will be the ones sort of doing the logistics of setting up the Zooms and stuff like that. But I participated in the Zooms for what was the event last year? Um, it was a virtual run, and they did stitching instead of running, and I can't remember the organization. Regardless, they did similar fundraising formats where they did, if you donated, you got to participate in a Zoom, and there were door prizes for the Zooms and all that kind of stuff. It's super fun. It's super fun. So you'll want to get connected to the information regardless of whether you do anything about it, because there's fun stuff to get involved in. So that Season of Smalls, that's marathon for MMIW. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm surprised because I'm looking at my list and I've hit almost everything on my list and we're just under an hour. Okay, talked about that, talked about that. Rules, donate, prizes. Yep, okay. I hit everything on my list, y'all. How'd that happen? Okay. So let's talk about the very few purchases that I have, and then we'll perhaps talk about some intentions for September, which are going to be kind of sparse because season of smalls is going to be big, y'all. Okay, so let's talk about some purchases. I have my fabric of the month from Stitch Me. I get 2 pieces of fabric from her. I get the neutral club in linen, 32 count linen, and I get the standard club in Jobelin, 32 count Jobelin. So let me show you what I've got. Show me what you got. Any Rick and Morty fans out there? Because if you're not a Rick and Morty fan, that made no sense. Show me what you got. Okay, anyway, the giant head. So this piece, this is my neutral. So this is the linen. This is called Scroll. Let me show you it. My fabric, let me show you it. Okay. Do, 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 do. It's not, the color is really not coming out and the camera doesn't want to focus. So it's definitely a neutral. It's coming off like completely wrong on camera. At the bottom there, it's closer to it. So, I mean, it does look like, it looks like parchment. And it's interesting because there's some, especially in this corner over here, there's like some spots of purple, mostly on the edges, which is interesting. It's almost like a piece of scroll that got some ink stains on it. And I was actually contemplating using this for creepy cryptids, but I'm actually, once I get to creepy cryptids, which goodness knows when that's going to be, once I get to working on that, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking I want a neutral that's in the cooler range versus the warmer range. So this is a bit of a warmer neutral. And I think I want something that leans cooler, like blue or purple, because I've seen some folks stitching on cooler neutrals for their creepy cryptids, and I like the look of that a lot because the colors pop a little bit better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still really undecided on what I'm going to use for creepy cryptids, but you know, I probably won't start it until October. So it's fine. I got time. I got plenty of time. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out one way or the other. Okay, and this is my Jobelin, and it's called Succulent. So here is Succulent. And it too is coming off not quite right. So it's a little more yellow than it's apparent. It looks like a very much like a neutral. In fact, this looks kind of like the neutral I might want to use for cryptid on camera, but in person, this is it's like a springy kind of green. So it's sort of like one of those lighter greener colored succulents. So it's a little cool, but it's still a fairly yellow green, fairly warm green. So it's a pretty color, but as much as in camera it looks like it would be good for cryptids, I don't think it would be. It's just too green, too yellowy green. But it's a gorgeous color, gorgeous color. So that is Succulent. It is much greener than it is showing up on camera. So those are my fabrics, and I also have my Fiberlicious. I need to join the Fiberlicious Fabric Club, y'all. I just haven't been able to convince myself, because I feel like if I add another fabric, monthly fabric, I need to drop one monthly fabric because I'm already receiving 3 or 4, 3 pieces of fabric a month. Well, if I get one from Fiberlicious, that's 4. That's an even number. I can talk myself into anything, y'all. Anyway, I do want to get on a Fiberlicious. So this month's Floss Club is Cherries collection. So that is the inspiration for this month's flosses. And these are some gorgeous flosses, y'all. Here they are. And of course, my camera is going to blow them out because, you know, why show them to you as they are? So it looks like super pink, right? I mean, it's definitely vibrant, but it is not like blow your eyeballs out vibrant. And these colors, these three colors are very different and they don't look on camera. So the camera is just really not doing them justice. So this color is Ooh La La. Maybe if I hold it, no, that doesn't make it. Ooh La La. Just trust me that these are nicer in person than they're showing up on camera. Rainier Cherry. So this one's slightly deeper in color. It's a little bit more red, less pink. And there is Mon Cherry. And this one again is a darker red, even than the last one, with less pink. This one is Cherry Bomb, which is a nice, dark, rich, like black cherry, chocolate cherry kind of color. And then lastly, we have Black Cherry, which this reminds me of like Black Forest cake. This is the kind of color that the cake itself is with all the different cherries on top. So gorgeous, gorgeous colors for this month from Fiberlicious. I really do need to join their fabric club because they have some vibrant, gorgeous colors. I might even have to get in on the Steel City Stitchers fabric club because Michelle was showing her fabrics that she got, her Jody fabrics, and they were awesome. So anyway, because I really need more clubs, right? I really need more fabric in my life. The thing about it is I really actually have to go purchase fabric for a project because I basically just go shopping in my stash. And that's a nice feeling. Anyway, okay, well, oh, I was gonna talk, I was like, am I done? Okay, so let's talk about some intention. So obviously Season of the Smalls is going to be taking up the majority of my life over the next couple of months, but there will still be WIPCO. I am hoping to, fingers crossed, I'll get to Drama Llama between this weekend and next weekend. We'll see. Next weekend is Expo, so the majority of my time will be spent hopefully chatting with designers and buying lots of charts. Sorry, my ankle's itchy. Um, so I don't expect next weekend to involve a lot of stitching, but hopefully between this weekend and next week, which maybe will be less busy. We'll see. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I'll get lots and lots of stitching on my model stitch, get my 500 stitches in on Drama Llama, and then it'll be next weekend or so when we get the draws for September. So we'll see what September's WIPCO goals are. And what other stitching? So I still have on the back burner things that need to get started. I have Trans Pride tapestry. She needs to happen like soon. I just feel like I have other obligations, so I can't get her on. I can't get her started. But trinkets needs to happen. Trinkets needs to become a reality. Everybody else is stitching theirs, and I'm so jealous, and I really want to stitch mine. So Trans Pride tapestry is still coming. Safe space, inclusive pride flag, or intersectional pride flag. One of those two I words. That is also a thing I'll be working on. Once I get this model stitched, I will start working on that model stitch. So those are two things that need to happen soonishly. Those will happen somewhere in amongst the other things. So those are the intentions. We'll see what happens with WIPCO next month. I am probably not going to actually get a WIPCO bingo because I didn't finish my goal for Peppermint Purple. So even if I get Drama Llama, I still have Peppermint Purple sitting between me and a bingo. But that's okay because I don't even know what the prize would be anyway. So yeah. So that's that. I will say, coming up, this is like a total sidetrack and not terribly cross stitch related. So this coming October, all things, if things go well, and if the Delta variant doesn't ruin everything, we are actually planning on going to a convention, a gaming convention, which, we haven't done in 2 years, year and a half. So the exciting thing about that, other than the fact that it's a convention and we're going to be doing True Dungeon, which is this like live action D&D kind of role playing thing, those are very exciting. But I just found out last night that Katie Osborne of Katieosaurus on TikTok, like for me, she's a total celebrity. But she's TikTok famous, so probably other people don't know about her. But she also does a podcast with her husband, partner, boyfriend, partner person who is male. They do a podcast called Infinite Quest. It's like a role playing podcast, I think. And so she will be there as herself. On a panel talking about neurodiversity at the gaming table, and also they will be doing a live podcast from the convention. So these are things that I can go to, and I can meet Katie Osborne like in person. And when I found out about this last night, I was like bouncing out of my skin. I was just like, I'm so excited. Katie Osborne is probably the single most influential person that I have, one of the two most influential persons I have found through TikTok, who have helped me over the last year and a half start to better understand who I am and what's going on in my brain, and how I can better understand myself. So Katie talks about primarily like ADHD and how that manifests, and experiential stuff about ADHD. And more than that, she educates a lot on self-acceptance and understanding terms to identify feelings that people with ADHD have, just all this different stuff. And she also talks about some other things that are less talked about in neurodivergent communities, and that's things like sexual dysfunction and different kinds of um, like physical and uh, you know I don't even know how to explain it, but like lots of different things that are less talked about in the ADHD communities, because a lot of it's about, well, I'm frustrated all the time because of blah, but nobody talks about like some of the more physical manifestations, and she talks about those things, and it's fantastic. So the idea that I might get to meet her in person and like talk to her like a person is like, oh my God. I'm totally fangirling, and I'm super excited about that, and I'm praying that Delta doesn't screw us over. Um, but yeah, she's one of the two people who has really, really helped me so much, and are the reason that I keep going back to TikTok. Her and Finn Gerhard, who is a non-binary person who posts tons of content about how to be a better ally. I have learned so much from Finn, and it's been fantastic. I love it. So anyway, I think that's it. I think I'm done. I'm glad to have had this time to sit and chat with you. I feel like it's been ages since I could just sit and do Flosstube. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that today. I hope you've enjoyed being with me in my rambly self, and I hope I will see you again soon. Trying to remember if there's anything that I need to remind you about. Season of Smalls, Marathon for MMIW. Check out the things, do the things, and yeah. Other than that, I'll leave you with what I always say, which is remember to stay hydrated, remember to take all the meds that you need to take, and remember that you are enough. I love you all. I'll see you again next time.